All right. I'm the shock exchange, of course, and this is Trump and the global economy. Trump and the GE for short. And this is Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson claims Trump is intimidated by intelligent black men. And the T between Trump, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, and mayors and around the country has just started, just kicked off in full gear. Trump brought in the National Guard in Washington, D.C. He's federalized D.C. and it happened in a day. Very little warning. Never seen anything quite like it. Hundreds of troops patrolling Washington, D.C., locking up people, rousting houses, rousting people, checking for drugs, looking to get people off the street. And he's vowed to clean up D.C. That means homeless encampments, the urban blight, destroy slums, move people out of D.C. with the quickness. He says it's an embarrassment to our nation. It's embarrassing to have tourists see this. And he wants to make sure people are safe. And he mentioned Chicago, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Oakland, cities which seem foreboding, implying that he would be willing to bring the federal troops into those areas as well. He's questioned the competence of certain mayors, including Mayor Brandon Johnson. This is his response to Trump's claim that he's incompetent.
Go to Justin here.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's move on, please.
All right. Thank you, Ed. Thanks.
What do you say to Donald Trump? How did you feel when Donald Trump called you incompetent? What did you feel?
All right. He just addressed this. Thanks.
Please answer that question. If you would.
Okay, fine. Since you are begging, I do believe that Donald Trump is intimidated. I know. I think you're
Okay.
begging.
No interruption.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I would just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because he's small.
Thanks.
Right.
Here's Justin.
All right, so this just escalated. The world wars escalated between the mayor of Chicago and President Trump. And for what it's worth, these mayors are like these urban areas, Muriel Bowser, Brandon Johnson, and others. In my opinion, are doing God's work. They're overseeing a city that includes some of the most marginalized people in the country. And all this money printing since the financial crisis over the last 10 to 15 years have not gone to certain citizens. They've gone to a very small segment of society. And these people tied to the money printer, tied to politicians, donors of politicians, certain politicians, have gotten all the money, and they're using this money to weaponize themselves against black folks and poor people, a lot of people who live in Chicago. A large part of people live in Chicago. A large percentage of people who live in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Oakland, and Baltimore. So the mayor has a tough task in that he has to manage the city for everybody. And a lot of these black people and poor people, homeless people, are victims. What would anybody expect to happen out there? You print tens of trillions of dollars and give it to everybody, but black folks and poor people. What would anybody expect to see but urban blight, crime, and homelessness? What do people expect? If the government hadn't bailed out investment bankers, they would have been homeless and criminals and on drugs. So the government picked the winners. That being said, this is a tough fight for the mayor to have with the president because he has to fight on several fronts, and he has a fiscal problem. He may have to have trouble coming up with funding for more police to fight crime in Chicago and make it safer for everybody. He has a funding gap for the schools. He has to raise money for the schools. He has to go to the governor hand in hand asking for money for the schools. And like a lot of these states where you have Chicago, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, these major cities, a lot of times dominate a lot of resources for a particular state. And other people outside that city may not be happy about it. So you have to go to the governor hand in hand looking for funding. Then you have to fight Donald Trump at the same time. That's a tough fight to have. It's hard to fight on on several different on several different fronts, and he may need the president's help at some point. So the president has the backing of the entire nation. He has federal funding, federal sources. He has something called the Federal Reserve that can print money for his purposes if he wants. So this isn't a fair fight. And to call the president out of his name or say that he's intimidated, that may or may not be true. That he's intimidated by black men, it may or may not be true. But the point of calling Trump out of his name over the past few years, he's probably gotten immune to it. And you see very few people doing it anymore. People who were calling him out his name 4 or 5 years ago, they're now silent because they know better. Because he hits back. He's hit back at the colleges. Harvard, Yale, some of the top colleges in the country. He's cut their funding. He's cut funding for PBS, NPR. He's cut funding for the humanities. Now he's looking at the material that they have in the National Museum of African American History. He's looking at that. So a lot of the people who've been calling Trump out of his name, the authors, the professors, they're afraid for their jobs. Trump hits back. He's hard, and this could be a difficult fight for the mayor of Chicago to have, given that he has his own funding problems, his own fiscal problems. He's fighting a president that has the Federal Reserve, the Department of Justice, and the full faith and credit of the U.S. government at his disposal. So that's Trump and GE. Trump intimidated by, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says, Trump intimidated by intelligent black men. Thank you for listening. Thank you.